Hello. Today we are going to talk about how to plan your marriage expenses. Wedding is something which all youngsters are dreaming about and something which everyone want to make it very big and make a memorable days in their life. So it's good that we are planning well in advance and make sure that the wedding will be managed very well and the money management has done properly. So to do that, 5 points which I would like to propose, which will help you to think about your marriage in a proper way. Those who are not thought about all these expenses along with this good thing going to happen in your life, it's always take a pause and think in a very number based model, and this will help you to run the marriage in a very peaceful and much cost effective manner. If you're lucky, your parents will take care of the wedding, but if you're not that lucky, you may have to shell out the money to manage. So in case the parents are doing the marriage, you can listen this, or in case youngsters are responsible to conduct the marriage themselves, you can also listen to this. So the first thing is that we need to list out all the expenses which is required to conduct the wedding. So we will understand that what is the money required to conduct the wedding. It will involve buying the clothes, conducting the marriage in a hall, and the party expenses, the jewelry expenses, and all other expenses along with the wedding. If you start listing, you will end up getting bigger list, and each list how much money is involved. So once you sum it up everything, you will able to figure out that how much money is totally needed to conduct a wedding in a beautiful and memorable manner. So once you get this, then you know that this much money is required to conduct the wedding. It could vary. If you are a boy, it will vary. If you are a girl, it will marry. It will different. So think in that angle and make sure that what is the amount, some amount is required to conduct the wedding. So once you do that, it's very important to think through things like all other expenses going to come in the future. You have to make sure that this expenses shouldn't hamper your other future goals coming up. The first thing is that insurance. When you conduct the wedding, the cost involved in terms of insurance and premium payment shouldn't get hampered. And if you have home loan, that EMI money shouldn't get hampered because of the marriage expenses. And your other goals like retirement, all other goals should keep in mind when you do this wedding planning. At the same time, if you do not have much money and you are planning to take loan, you need to make sure that what is that money EMI you can pay for the loan which you take for marriage loan. There are a lot of companies are offering these days, especially new gen loan aggregators are giving a lot of loan facility to take the marriage. But when I have checked it, there are bigger portion of interest rate they are charging. So be mindful that what kind of loan you are taking for the wedding. Don't really hurry up and take the loan which is very expensive. Make sure that you take a loan which is optimal size and optimal interest. So this, the point here, what we are making is that think about the future and what is your marriage expenses. So this marriage expenses shouldn't hamper your future goals and future responsibilities. So once you do that, it's perfect. So everything has to go in a balance. That's all. And most importantly, if possible, in arranged marriage it is difficult, but if you are, even if arranged marriage also, try and do one thing, that have a discussion between two families, or at least both the couples, and understand that what are the things they want to do in the marriage. Do they need gold? Because gold, especially in South India and in Indian wedding, there are gold is spent a lot. So think about it. Do I really need that kind of gold? Can I do something like a 1 gram gold, or less, the very minimal gold which is just needed for the wedding, or am I going to wear the gold again? Do I use any alternative than jewelry? So that is one thing which we need to really think. And other thing is that, do I need a bigger marriage, or can I do a marriage in a very optimal manner, and can I reduce the marriage expenses by inviting lesser people? And even if you can think about it, can I do some charity along with this? That's another good cause you can do. Instead of conducting a big fat marriage, you can reduce expenses here and you can do some charity. Or you can keep that money for your future wealth creation. And can you do something common with both bride and bridegroom's family? Especially the functions, why do they need to have functions in both the places separately? Can you do in a common manner? So that way also you can reduce the expenses, and this again, you are reducing the burden for your family members also. They don't have to attend two separate functions. Instead, they can come and attend one function and they can bless you and go. So that's one good thing you can do for your family and for yourself also, for your financial stability. Then in terms of gift, especially the gold gift again, jewelry again, or if they are planning to give any vehicle or car, do you really need it? If you are a NRE, if you are working abroad, why do you need to get a car as a gift? Because the car is going to be here in your hometown, and you are not going to take that car in abroad. And do you really need that? And instead of gold, are you planning to buy any house? Instead of buying the gold, instead of collect that money and use that money for something which you are planning to do in your post-marriage time. So if you can work out with your partner, it's good. But it's very difficult to maybe discuss this with the family. But if you can discuss this with both the families and take a call which will help to reduce the cost and use that money for the future. So if you can do that, nothing like that. So this part, that discussing before the wedding in terms of expenses between both the families are crucial, and it has to be done as a most important point. And this is the fourth point which you have to keep in mind. And the last thing, it's very important that you should keep an emergency fund, because during the wedding, a lot of expenses comes. And till wedding, you were a bachelor and you were able to manage your life with a small money. But post-wedding, once the couple join together, your expenses will go up. And you may not know how to manage that. So think that after wedding, what will be monthly cost? You can assume it and see that what will be the monthly cost. And at least for 1 year cost, calculate 1 year cost is needed for your lifestyle, and keep that as an emergency fund. If you do that, it is really good. If you are not able to keep 1 year fund, at least keep 6 months fund. So this emergency fund will give you a foundation for your financial stability from the day one of your marriage. So these are the 5 points which you have to keep in mind when you plan your wedding expenses. The first thing is that list down all the expenses needed for the wedding and figure out the budget totally needed, and think about your future when you plan your marriage expenses. Keep in mind all the future goals you have, and it shouldn't hamper because of the wedding expenses. Then discuss with your partner before the wedding that what are the things which you needed together, and avoid all this separate expenses. Bring it to common. That way you can save a lot of cost, and make sure that you have an emergency fund once you get into your new life. If you can plan this, your wedding will be memorable, and your foundation for your money management will be done at the marriage time itself. Happy wedding and happy investing. If you have any doubt regarding this or anything related to investing, please email us or please call us. Happy to discuss over. Thank you.